Hello again. So when we left the Spectrum last time, we'd done a mod on the video output here, and we made sure that the keyboard itself was tested, and we got the faults down to the membrane here. So what we didn't do last time though is rebuild this and put it back together again. So it's a case of just simply slotting in the membrane like that, pop in the rubber cover back over like so. There we go. Okay, and then we'll pop this back over as well. So just have to make sure that those little lugs are located in the holes. Just have to slightly bend these so they go in all right. He says. These are a bit bent, so let's just see if we can just straighten them up a little bit. I don't want to play about with these too much and break them. So let's make sure this keyboard is nice and flat, which it is. Right, let's try that again. Right, it's got a bit of a fiddle. You can see the circle from my light there, look. Okay, so a bit of a fiddle getting that on, but that's nicely in place now. So let's bend these back over now. So I'm going to put a slight bit of pressure on just to hold those keys in place. And we can, I was going to do it with a screwdriver, but need something with a bit more oomph behind it than that. I'll say on my first video, I've never actually done one of these later keyboards. I've always done the ones with the sticky, double-sided sticky tape. So I'm just putting a bit of pressure on from the other side of the keyboard to make sure it's kept flat. There we go. Good. Tell you what though, that is a lot better than those sticky pads I used to use. So that feels very nice now. There's a bit of white dirt on there, so let's get rid of that. There we go. So that's back on. So let's plug it back into the specky and we'll do a quick test. I don't want to leave this on permanently, but I will do a quick test just to make sure that all the keys are working okay. Right, that's back in. I'm just going to put this cloth down just to protect the circuit board. Okay, ribbons popped out. Let's put that back in again. There we go. Right, okay. Let's bring the signal cable over. Right, just bear with me for a tick while I just spin the camera around. Right, okay, so I've had to quick tidy up on my desk because it was a right mess. So I've got it plugged into the monitor, so let's switch it on. And then we'll see the screen come up. There we go. And I'm not going to do anything technical at this point. I'm just going to do a very quick test on the keyboard. Just flick that round so you can see. So 1, 2, there we go, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. That's working okay. All the keys, Q, W, E, R, T, Y, U, I, O, and P. So that looks like that's working okay. So I'll just pause again and we'll flip back to the desk. So there we have it. There is one keyboard fixed and working. So let's just disconnect that now. Very carefully just pull that out. There we go. And let's have a look at the power side. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to have a look at is the the voltage regulator on here. So this is the voltage regulator that comes with these spectrums. I believe it's the same one that you get on the Commodore 64 as well. So 9 volt comes in here, and it regulates it to a very smooth 5 volt, which then goes off to the circuit board. The problem is with these is that they generate so much heat, and that is the reason why this massive heatsink is here. But what you can do now is you can replace them with more modern voltage regulators, and one's just fallen out the bag. Here it is. So we can replace this with this little circuit here. So let's have a quick closer look at this if I can zoom in. Right, I've zoomed in so you can have a look. Now on here, I can turn it around very slightly. We've got an input, a ground, and an output. And if we look on the back, it gives us that on the back of here as well. So the input will be the 9 volts, the ground is there, and the output will be 5 volts. So what we need to do is to make sure, just double check, that when we replace the regulator here, it lines up. So the input should be here, so we should see 9 volts here. The ground should be here, and the output, which is 5 volts, should be there, which lines up with that one there. So let's get the multimeter out and just double check that the pins are the same. Right, there's our multimeter. So let's just plug it in. And before I switch it on, so we need to make sure that the ground is the middle pin here, and then we'll go test the 2 pins either side of it. So let's switch the spicky on, switch the multimeter on, put that on our ground. So the one furthest away from us is showing 4.8, which is 5 volts. The one closest to us is showing just short of 9 volts. So that's right, so the pins of this one line up to the same pins as this one here, so we're okay. Right, let's just clear the bench. Okay, so what we need to do now is we need to undo this screw on here, remove the heatsink, and then we need to remove this old regulator. So screwdriver time. Where's my other screwdriver disappeared to? Here it is. Okay, so let's just loosen that off. We'll hold the nut behind with our fingers. Now, I know some purists will say that it should be kept as the old type of regulator for the Spectrum, but we're going to be doing so many changes to this, it's not going to really matter. For example, we've already changed the video output, we're going to change the capacitors on it, we've changed the membrane on it, so it's not really going to be a true original Spectrum by the time we've finished. Okay, so that's that off. So what we need to do now is to desolder it from the board. So it's these 3 points here. So let's warm up the desoldering. Right, okay, so what we need to do first of all is pop a bit of flux on there. There's a bit of flux, let's get a bit of flux on there. There we go. Just quickly make sure that our... Why is it always cables get in the way? Right, let's just double check to make sure that our desoldering pump is clean. Which it is, good, that's okay. And let's just quickly desolder these points on here. Okay, that's got them cleared off. Switch that off. Right, let's have a quick look. Yep, that's nice and clean. So that should pop off quite easily. Let's give it a try. If not, I can easily just put the heat pump on it a bit and heat it up a bit. Oh, that leg. So we've got a couple of loose legs, but one of them isn't quite loose. Let's just try that again. That looks better. Yeah, it's still not quite cleaned out there. Is it any better moving that? The problem is I don't want to damage the circuit board at all and lift any pads, so we're very loose. Sorry, you can't see that, can you? Okay, so we're very loose. There we go, it's popped out now. Excellent. Let's put that to one side. It's like pulling teeth, isn't it? Okay, so let's give that a quick clean up, but that's okay. I've not damaged any pads, which is good. Okay, so we need to clean that up a bit. This is the alcohol spray. Great, so that's nice and clean now. So where's our new regulator? So let's pop our new regulator in now. There we go, that's nicely put in there. And that will stand off the board very slightly. So So that will stand off the board very slightly. So what we'll do is we'll pop a little bit of solder on first off, and sorry about that. Right, you can see what I'm doing now, can't you? So let's pop that in there. What we need to do is pop a bit of solder on, and then we can line it up properly. Right, soldering iron is up to temperature, so let's pop a bit of, just going to do a little bit of solder just on one of the legs first off. And then what I'm going to do is just to make sure that that circuit board is just standing off the other circuit board. So just warm that leg and straighten those pins up. There we go. So if you can see now that is now proud of the circuit board, so it's not going to short out or anything on the circuit board. Right, okay, so let's solder the other two legs up. Great, okay, let's have a closer look at that, make sure it's okay. Make sure I haven't bridged it or anything. Right, that's okay, let's have a look. So that's okay, that's okay. Is that bridged, or was that just a mark on the circuit board? Could be like a little bridge just across there, so let me just see if we can. Yep, there we go, we just clean the solder off. That's better, so that's okay now. So that's okay there, flick it over just to make sure that's okay there as well, which it is, that's nice and solid. Sorry, you can't see it again. There we go, so it's nice and solid on the board, and if we look underneath it's not going to short against there, so that's good. Right, testing time. Let's make sure we haven't caused any problems. So clear everything out of the way. Switch our soldering iron off. Right, okay, so we'll plug in our signal cable again. Get our power cable here. Okay, and spin the camera around. Right, I'm going to have to turn the lights out, so there we go, that's the lights out. Right, let's just switch on and hopefully we should see a signal as normal. Yep, there we go, so that's great, that's working okay. Brilliant. Okay, watch your eyes, the light is coming back on in 3, 2, 1. Lights are back on, you're okay. So that's it for this part. So in this part we've rebuilt the circuit board, we've rebuilt the keyboard, and we've tested that, and that can go back on the specky when it's all rebuilt, and we've replaced the voltage regulator just here. So that's it for this one, for this video. Next video what we're going to do is we'll be replacing the capacitors. I hope you enjoy what I do. If you do like what I do, please give me a thumbs up, please subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.